raise the song of harvest home. All is safely gathered in ere the winter storms begin. God our Maker doth provide for our wants to be supplied. We are God's own temple, come raise the song of harvest home. All the world is God's own field, fruit unto God's praise to yield, wheat and tares together sown, unto joy or sorrow grown. First the blade and then the ear, then the full corn shall appear. God of harvest, grant that we wholesome grain and pure may be. We are spirit here on earth, filled with radiant light from birth. All our gifts we strive to share, while our praises fill the air. Give the Spirit charge at last, in the image we are cast. We are God's own temple, come raise the song of harvest home.
Welcome, everyone. It's a beautiful day in the universe, and I'm so glad we can be together. Let's set our intention for this time and space. Coming together today, we create a collective divine heartbeat. We affirm truth and peace abide here. We gather to remember and recognize the divine mystery within. In our sacred circle, we honor the awakening of each spirit who enters. Let us pray.
Let us pray. Mother, Father, Grandmother, Grandfather of the open, endless sky, your names are whole and complete. I invite your totality, knowing that your will is done, on and above the earth. Feed me today, and give to me even when I fail to live up to my values. Help me to let others live their lives and express their values without interference from me. Keep me from being tempted to hurt myself and others, mostly by errors in my thinking. Prove to me my original integrity. Your way is peaceful, joyful, and glorious, now and forever. Aho.
Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful. 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 Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful. 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 I'm so grateful.
Good morning. Just kind of taking that music for a moment. And we've already opened our circle with all the beautiful souls that are joining us today or later, right? And so let's do a little clearing of anything that's sticking to us. I think we all have a lot of that right now. And with this smudging, just take a deep breath and allow it to energetically clear whatever it is that might be sticking to you that no longer serves your highest good. Just let that fall away right now. And with that, in the circle, I'm going to activate the 4 directions, call in our ancestors, our guides, our guardians, those that need to be here today to help us heal, to help us grow, all in a way that serves our highest good. And I ask that this time and space, that this sacred circle be protected, that all that needs to channel in here is done in each person's highest good, and that we have the sacred space that we need to truly feel our hearts and lift our energy and our spirits. Aho. So thanks for tuning in. Last week we talked about receiving and the sacredness of receiving, not just accepting. And so this week I want to talk about gratitude, and it falls just in that right place. You know, I was channeled in that we go from receiving to gratitude, and then we're going to go from gratitude to giving and giving to grace, and those all continue to flow together. So we're going to talk about gratitude today, and we're going into the week of Thanksgiving in 2020. The pandemic and with all these new directives about what's safe and what isn't safe. So it's a really interesting time to dig into gratitude. It's different. It probably feels different to me, so I'm assuming it's going to feel different to all of you. So let's get into this idea of gratitude. Bring up in yourself what is the energy of gratitude? How is it different from appreciation versus gratitude? How is it different from thankfulness, thanksgiving versus gratitude? Okay, gratitude is a virtue, and it's a very important virtue that a majority of our theologies are based in. Most of our society, all accounts for gratitude. Cicero, who is a BC philosopher, said gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all the others. Gratitude is the parent of all the other virtues. So you kind of want to get in alignment with that one, right? So that all the other ones fall into place. It's the parent of all virtues. It's important, deeply important. Throughout history, gratitude has been given this pivotal position in most religious and philosophical theories. The importance of it has been a hub to so much understanding, and it's the fundamental focus of Christianity, of Judaism, Buddhism, Islam. Almost all those biblical psalms are about gratitude to God. So it's important. This is why it's the parent of all virtues. It's important, deeply important. It's been studied more in the last, I'm going to say about 10 years in the field of psychology that I follow. Gratitude is being studied in the best way possible. And they're really coming to a lot of not surprising conclusions. It's not surprising that being tapped into gratitude actually, causes higher levels of happiness, lower levels of depression, lower levels of stress. And we can see the chemical reaction. So when we invoke, feelings of gratitude and we watch brain activity, we actually see that, it boosts the neurotransmitters dopamine and serotonin and oxytocin, which is a hormone in our bodies. All of those are associated with well-being and positivity. So we know that when we engage in gratitude, all of those go up. And so it chemically brings positivity to our wellness, to our feelings of, adequacy and worthiness. So that's powerful. That's really powerful. So I bring that up so that we get that buy-in that this is important stuff. And that we understand with our frontal lobe, how our body is affected by gratitude physically, the way we embody it. But we're really here in this circle of Angels Landing to talk about spiritual aspects. So the focus of gratitude as a spiritual practice is different than us just talking about how it makes us feel. So we've got the buy-in, right? Like we know, okay, scientifically we see how, this can affect our physical well-being and our mental well-being. And then our emotional well-being, right? Because that's all tied together. But what about our spiritual wellness, our spiritual well-being? Gratitude could actually be considered, when we look at it, like the ultimate spiritual practice. We talk about kindness being our religion, gratitude as this baseline of everything. And when we use it as a spiritual practice, just like it, releases all these positive neurotransmitters and hormones in our body that make us feel good, it also lifts the vibration of our spirit, of our soulful existence. And when we lift that, we experience the divine. We are closer to God, if you will, because that vibrational frequency change allows us to tap into our own divinity and vibrate with Source, with Creator, with Great Spirit. And we get to experience our own divinity through gratitude. So, when we actually go to the root of the word itself, the Proto-Indo-European root is guer, and it literally means to praise, to celebrate, to be in contact with the divine. To be in contact with the divine is the root meaning of this word. So you see how this is spiritual, whether you recognize it or not, whether you identify that or not. Gratitude is a spiritual practice. It allows us to see the value and virtue and benefit in everything we apply it to. Whether it's a challenge or a gift that feels good, we get to see its virtue. We get to see its value in our life. We get to invite in the gift, whether the gift is a lesson or the gift is comfort or the gift might be pain, but it's a gift, and we get to receive that fully when we open up our gratitude. Okay, so in this regard, it can be considered the antidote to many forms of suffering because it brings about the benefit, the understanding, the virtue, the value. And that's the balm to suffering. You know, we can't avoid pain in life. We can't avoid struggle. It comes, it's part of us. It's actually what pushes us to our higher vibration if we allow it to. But when we refuse to see what the lesson is there, where the growth can be, what the gift is, that's when we suffer. Suffering is kind of the state of not moving through it, of being stuck. Gratitude is, the balm is the medicine for that. It's what brings us up and out of that, suffering. It's the antidote. So, in itself, it's its actual form of spirituality. And it doesn't require any special training or theological study or, some sort of an exhaustive practice. It's just feeling it, experiencing it is a spiritual experience, a spiritual practice. Now, we might need to practice it because it doesn't come easily when we're stuck. When we're in that place of suffering and we're kind of stuck, kind of got to nudge our way out of that, right? So half empty, half full. Is the glass half empty, half full? We like to use that as a measure of, am I a positive thinker? Am I not a positive thinker? And it really doesn't matter. If the glass is half full, then you can probably tap into your gratitude, the basic gratitude that's there. If the glass is half empty, then you have another step. You have to say, okay, what's missing? But when you can identify that, then you see the reverse. And that gives you a grip on gratitude, on what you can be grateful for. But see, when I think about this, I don't think about whether or not you're seeing the glass half full or half empty. I'm seeing how much space is left there to still fill. How do I overfill this glass? How do I overflow it? How do I get it to just brim over? Because we're identifying whatever liquid is there, whatever is full, as a positive good thing. And with my gratitude, I can fill that glass further. So even if the glass is completely empty, and that's the way I see it, if I connect with my gratitude, I figure out how to fill it. And that's empowering because it's nothing I have to depend on anybody else for. I don't even have to depend on somebody to give me a gift because receiving is natural and innate to our human condition. I can look out the window and watch this bird on a branch and receive a miracle of understanding from it. I can receive spiritual experience in anything that I allow my heart to open up to. So that's so empowering. It means we get to fix ourselves. We get to fix our moment. We get to change how we view things. We get to fill ourselves up. So that's why I don't care if you think it's half full or half empty. You're empowered to fill it and to overfill it. You're empowered to take control of that and open your heart and just let it receive everything and just deepen your sense of gratitude, which gives you your own divine experience. Your own divine experience. It's hard to know how to shift that sometimes. It's really hard sometimes. And I'm guessing if I'm having trouble with it right now, I'm not the only one. And I have been. I've had a lot of trouble this week tapping into gratitude because I'm having a lot of trouble staying in a positive space. I'm feeling exhausted. I'm feeling drawn out. I'm feeling so stressed out, overstressed out, burned out by the state of everybody's stress. I think there's a crash and burning happening post-election. I think there's a crash and burning happening from yet another COVID surge. And the messaging we're getting is, don't gather with your loved ones for Thanksgiving. Do yourself a favor and cancel. Cancel because you love each other. And that's a really hard message to abide by, to agree with. And everybody can, make their own decision if they think that's a good idea or not. But to simply hear it means I have to weigh it out. I have to consider, is that something I'm going to follow or not follow? And simply that the prospect of that leads us to a stressful, difficult place. It's hard. It's heartbreaking. It's all very heartbreaking right now. So when we're heartbroken, when we're drawn out, when we're exhausted, when we just don't know how to even, fill our glass because there's not a drop in it and we're just done. It's really hard to turn to gratitude and say, well, count your blessings. What do I have to be grateful for? And it's really difficult to get our minds to shift and to start picking up positive vibes. But this is where we go into a practice, a discipline. Doesn't matter how you feel. Doesn't matter how you feel about what you're going to do. This is where you do it. This is where you've been knocked down in life and you don't feel like getting up and you get up anyhow. This is where you reach out and you say, help me up. And we help each other up. And when you're in that space, and when the glass is empty, and it's hard to know what to do or how to find, you know what to do, but where do you find the gumption and the energy to do it? This is what we practice for. This is where faith steps in. This is where the discipline steps in. This is where the muscles that you exercise with your meditation, with your practice, with your faith, step in and help you up. Being able to just start changing one factor in your thinking. So for me, I go from have to get to. When I'm drawn out, everything's I have to. I have to do this. I have to do that. Nothing feels independent anymore. Everything feels like it's pulling on me and it's draining me. So I have to have a discipline of changing the way I think. Okay, I don't have to pick up the dog poop. I get to pick up the dog poop. And boom, that elevates just a little bit, puts a few drops in my glass. I get to. And that get to becomes really important. It's a seed, and we keep watering that seed by using those words again and again. It comes down to seeing the opportunity instead of the obligation. Opportunity instead of obligation. Our spirits and our souls are stronger than we give ourselves credit for. So when it is needed to dig deep, do the work. Just one step at a time, just one moment at a time. When it feels difficult and challenging and you're suffering from it, change one little thing. Go from get to have to. Go from obligation to opportunity. Change your lens if you need to. Change your lens. Go back to the basics. Go back to the basics during a time when people are losing everything. People are losing their lives. People are losing their health. They're losing their jobs. You may be one of them. What do you still have? How can you build your gratefulness in what you still have while honoring what you've lost? But what do you still have? Because that's, the pulling up the bootstraps, and it will lead you to a better place. And you need to get to that better place so that you can, from a very healthy mindset, grieve your losses, deal with whatever's in front of you. It's not about being a Pollyanna and not seeing loss and not seeing hardship, but it is about finding the gifts inside of it. It is about raising yourself up and raising each other up. It is about using these moments that are really hard and dark to find light and to practice that. Find light for others. You know, that one candle in the darkness casts a pretty bright light. And so that one little change, that have to get to, opportunity over obligation, to just raise yourself up a little bit, to do it anyhow, even if you don't feel like it. You know, parents aren't good at that, right? I don't feel like getting up every day and taking care of my family, especially when I'm sick or I'm tired, I was up all night or whatever it was. We don't feel like it, and we do it anyhow. That's the part of you tap into. That's the part of me I've been having to tap into. So, you know, and then the problem is there are different depths. The problem next comes, okay, that made me feel better for a moment, but now I'm back down here again. Keep doing it. Do it again and again and again. It's a muscle that you have to keep working out. And eventually you will get higher. You will get above it, and you won't just be treading water anymore or feeling like you're drowning. But you've got to, every moment, just stay in the moment. Every moment we meet that moment with the best of ourselves. And sometimes our best is this much, and sometimes our best is this much. Just meet that moment where you can. Be grateful for what you can. And when you have to, go back to basics. And the basics are a really good thing to tap into this week for Thanksgiving anyhow. Tap into the basics. Tap into your breath. Be grateful for your breath. Tap into the sun, into the trees, into all that's around you that you take for granted, that actually gives you sustenance in life. I recently lost somebody extremely important to me in my life. And she's been in my life for over 40 years. And, you know, it was one of those beautiful friendships that, you know, we would talk every day for months, and then we could go several months without talking to each other and then pick up where we left off. And it was almost, you know, I had that almost taken for granted because I just always thought it would be there. And because we could go long distances and short distances without talking, and we could be right there in each other's lives, super present, and sometimes be at great distance and, you know, pick up where we left off. And I just always assumed that would be the way it was going to be. And now it's not. And so it was interesting because I had to reflect on that and say, when was I ever present enough to recognize the true value that relationship brought me in my life? I'm not sure I ever did. I always had this great appreciation, for sure. But not until it was gone did I realize how much I would miss it. So take a moment and really, you know, some people have lost loved ones. If they could have their family together around the table, they would have somebody missing. There's nothing more sobering than that. And so if you're not that person, be grateful that you're not that person. Be deeply grateful. Keep practicing that gratitude, that sacred gratitude that really recognizes the divine miracles in everything, that really recognizes that we are all connected. That's the sacred living piece with gratitude. It's really planting that deeply inside of yourself. There are gifts right now that we can all find in this difficult time. In this difficult time that it's hard for some of us to be grateful, there are great gifts that the pandemic is giving us. You know, so discover the parts of yourself that are being challenged right now, that have been in the shadows, that you didn't know or that you weren't comfortable. use this space to do the things that you always wanted to do and never got to, that are appropriate now. Reading more books, connecting with people, writing letters, whatever it is. But find the things that fill you up. Go deeper with yourself. Confront those things that are uncomfortable. You're being given the space to do it. And if gratitude is part of, that process of having challenges, then face it head on, because you're giving yourself the greatest gift to be able to tap into it, that divine connection and things. Deepak Chopra said, gratitude is a fullness of heart that moves you from limitation and fear to expansion and love. From limitation and fear to expansion and love. When you're appreciating something, your ego moves out of the way. You can't have your attention on ego and gratitude at the same time. So that's the other gift of gratitude. It literally takes our ego out of the way. Oh, and we're always, challenged by that and wrestling with that. So boy, what a gift to just put it over there for us. So get back to basics. Be grateful for your breath. Go deeper than thankfulness. Go deeper, because gratitude is so much more profound. It brings us to a state of wholeness. Even if there are things you think are missing, it still brings you to a state of wholeness. It brings you to a state of oneness because the ego is removed. It brings you to a state of being connected to all things. So that oneness is there. It eliminates that duality in life. What a gift. What an incredible gift. So give that to yourself. Focus on the learning rather than the struggle. What can you learn right now from the way you're feeling? Let's get into a little practice, some meditation with this, okay? And we'll energetically clear out some blockages, some obstacles, and hopefully drill down deeper into that gratitude so that we really vibrate on a cellular level with it, okay? So go ahead and get comfortable, close your eyes. Connect inside yourself. So you're just listening to my guidance, but be really present inside yourself right now. Connect with your breathing. Just inhale and exhale. Feel that natural cycle of breathing. Feel the space in between at the top of your breath and at the bottom of your breath. The motion is inhaling and exhaling, just like giving and receiving. But the space at the top and the space at the bottom, the pausing, the space at the top of your breath is your gratitude. When you fill yourself, and you give it away with your exhale, and the space at the bottom of your breath is that resting in divine grace. So just connect and feel that in your breath right now. Consider the many things for which you can be grateful. Relationships in your life, both loving ones and challenging ones. Your material comforts. Go to the basics. Do you have a roof over your head? Do you have a pillow that you love that you get to rest your head on at night? Do you have food in your refrigerator? Do you know that you have the next meal coming? Do you have clothing to wear? Do you have a support system and people to count on? Do you have people that remind you how worthy of love you are? Consider your body. Consider your senses that allow you to experience the world and this life. Consider your mind, having this mind that allows you to really understand yourself, contemplate things, understand your essential spiritual nature. Bring gratefulness for that. Bring that gratitude in. Just feel the air that's moving in and out of your body. Physiological functions in your body, the processing of that air that make your lungs expand and contract. Life, essence itself. Pay attention to your senses, everything that you're hearing, feeling, smelling, may even be tasting, could be sipping on some coffee. Consider the gift of sight, all the things that you get to see. If you don't have that gift of sight, all the things you get to sense. How many things can you find in all of this to feel grateful for? It's a powerful way to shift your mood and open to that flow of abundance that is always surrounding you, whether you feel it, whether you recognize it, whether you're aware of it consciously or not. It's always there. You are surrounded by the flow of abundance. And so you can come back to this again and again and again every time that moment arises that you need to tap into gratitude. Because living sacred is practicing presence in what is. Practicing presence in what is and finding the gift of that moment. Doesn't matter if that moment feels good or doesn't. There is a gift there. Can you practice being present with it in that moment? Thanksgiving is not just a holiday that we gather in, or this year maybe not gather in. Whether we use Thanksgiving as a time to celebrate or mourn, Thanksgiving calls forth sacred gratitude, spiritual awareness, and sacred gratitude. It is a state of mind. It is a heart space. It is an uplifting of spirit that we can live our daily lives in a sacred way. As my teacher, Dr. Goodall, says, walk sacred, talk sacred. This is living sacred. Feel that gratitude. Feel that vibration. Make a commitment. Make a commitment with this week and moving forward. Make a commitment to have a practice of gratitude. A little one that exercises that muscle every day. Pick a time, pick a practice. Maybe it's upon opening your eyes in the morning and waking and saying, thank you for my breath again. Maybe it's when you get home from work and you're turning off your car or walking in the door. Thank you for my home, or thank you for my family. Thank you for a safe place. Maybe it's when you sit down to eat, and that's the time to offer your gratitude. Or, daily prayer space, daily meditation space. Maybe if you walk every day, the walk is your walk of gratitude. Just pick something that you can attach to every day. Maybe it's brushing your teeth. Every time you brush your teeth, You say your prayers of gratitude, your thoughts, your heart space. It doesn't have to be a special prayer. It's just what you offer. Attach it to a daily practice. Bring that in so that you can have a deeper well to tap into, especially when you're feeling light in gratitude and you're feeling heavy in that struggle. This will foster a well to tap into for you. May you hold this peace in your heart.
For the beauty of the earth, for the glory of the skies, for the love which from our birth over and around us lies. Lord of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the wonder of each hour of the day and of the night, hill and vale and tree and flower, sun and moon and stars of light. Lord of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of human love, brother, sister, parent, child, friends on earth and friends above, for all gentle thoughts and mild. Lord of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For thyself best gift divine, to our race so freely given, for that great, great love of thine, peace on earth and joy in heaven. Lord of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for bringing your heart with us today and listening. Thank you for your practice of gratitude. Let's do our closing blessing. I want you to outstretch your hands and hold all your intentions in that space. And we send blessings to all those we hold in our hearts, as well as to all the indigenous tribes of this country who sacrificed so much that we may all be here now. May their ancient wisdom be heard, and may their hearts be uplifted. May all beings experience divine grace through this week of Thanksgiving. May you be blessed with a deep, lasting gratitude in the 7 sacred directions. May you be blessed with peace in your heart. May you be blessed with strong health of body, mind, and spirit, an abundance of love all around you. Have a very sacred week of gratitude that lasts all year through, and may you have a beautiful Thanksgiving. Aho.
This joy I had, the world didn't give it to me. This joy that I had, the world didn't give it to me. This joy I had,
Thanks for joining us today. If you'd like to be a part of the conversation after the talk, please subscribe to our emails. We have great conversation and connection. Thanks for tuning in today. See you next week.